Hey CCVers, it's Eric Soilis here, and I'm excited that you decided to do the Yes Initiative. The good news is you're more than halfway done and you've already made new friends. I pray that you're getting closer to God every week and growing in your faith as we do this thing called life. I pray that your group continues to have great discussions, free of anxiety or worry as we grow together. So let's get started with week 7. Today's focus is Say Yes to Sacrifice. Our discussions will be about Nehemiah and the sacrifices he made. And we're going to talk about the sacrifices you made for others and the sacrifices others have made for you. We've all heard the stories of sacrifice, and there are many in the Bible. From the most obvious, Jesus Christ himself, to Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son Isaac. Here's another story that I recently read online. While on vacation in Florida, Garth Griffin decided to try skydiving. He was jumping in tandem with Michael Costello, an experienced instructor. Something went wrong. The main chute failed to open. No big deal, they had a backup chute. Then the backup chute failed too. The two men went into a violent spin as they were plummeting towards the ground. The instructor corrected the spin and regained control of their fall. Griffin was on the bottom and the instructor was on the top. As they neared the ground, the instructor folded his arms and legs, causing the pair to rotate. In doing so, the instructor hit the ground first, cushioning his student's blow. The student survived. Costello, the instructor, wasn't so lucky. He sacrificed his own life so Griffin could live. In John 15:13 it says, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for his friends." There is no greater sacrifice than to lay down your life for a friend. But what about the day-to-day sacrifices? Simple things like taking time out of your day to have coffee with someone that needs to talk, doing the dishes for your wife, passing up that career that can mean being away from your family all the time, switching services or even campuses to open up a seat for someone new on Sunday. How about this? Waking up 30 minutes early to spend time in the Bible. It's not just a matter of whipping out your checkbook and giving money. That's great, and it's an important act of obedience. But God also asks that we give our time and our talents, and we are to do so with a joyful heart. I know what you're thinking. Eric, I've tried this before and it feels like it didn't even matter. They seem like small gestures, but sometimes you just don't know the impact that you're having on someone's life. And we have an enemy that wants nothing more than to convince you that your efforts are meaningless, that they don't matter to the world and they don't matter to God. But the greatest commandment is to love God with our heart and our soul and our mind, and to love others as ourselves. Do you hear that? To love others as ourselves. The best way to show our love is through our actions. God sent his Son to die on our behalf, and Jesus laid down his life willingly for us. When you consider that, it puts doing the dishes into perspective. While we're talking about showing love to those around us, remember that our goal at CCV is to have a fully devoted follower in every home in the Valley. For this to become a reality, we need to grow our capacity within our walls as well. Always be thinking about how you can grow your group. Perhaps someone in the group would make a great leader. Also, keep your eye out for someone that you can invite to join you in the next season. I hope you all have a great meeting. And remember to make God your #1 priority in everything you do, and the rest will fall into place. God bless, and I'll see you soon.
My name is Bran Ullman. This is my wife, Laura Ullman. We have one son, Logan Ullman, who's 20 years old. We've been coming to CCV. Well, I've been coming to CCV for 44 years, and you've been coming...
25?
25 years?
26.
Okay. So a little while. Both grew up in the church and had good role models as far as giving is concerned, but I saw that my parents gave, but they never really took the time to talk to me about why they gave, kind of what the thought process was behind giving. So I got the positive reinforcement that it was the right thing to give, but I didn't get the understanding of kind of the philosophy. And our real tithing story began in that, just kind of the understanding that we were giving God kind of what was left over. And through kind of a course of some events, I actually lost my job, and it was a fairly high paying job. That was a very I don't know, distressful time for me. It's when a guy loses his job, it's kind of emasculating, knowing that he's not providing for his family. And really, digging deep and praying through the situation, I really felt God putting on my heart that our tithe, how we deal with our money, was really what we needed to examine in order to move forward. And that's what we did, and we really talked about it, and we decided that this was something that we were going to actively engage in. And we just kind of decided, you know what, we're not even going to mess around with it. We're just gonna give God the first 10% off of everything that we get, and the money we started giving him was relatively inconsequential, because at that time I wasn't even working, and we were tithing 10% off the gross of my unemployment checks. It was not a heck of a lot, but we kept going through, and it was about an 8-month process in order to get another job. We gave 10% of every dollar that came into our pocket, and once we really decided that, it was weird. In 8 months, we never missed a bill. We were never late on a bill, not one day late. I mean, there was times where we got fed because a mystery gift card ended up in our mailbox. Yeah. But in an 8-month period, we never missed a bill. God was always faithful down to the penny sometimes. We tithed more in that year than we had the previous year, when I made almost 3 times as much money. As hard as that 8 months was, it was really,
really cool to see.
God was moving. And, there was a time when, I would know that a good month was coming in, and direct deposits hits at 12:01 in the morning, and we'd wake up at 12:30 in the morning, go running to the computer to see what my commission was, and just be thankful that God was blessing us. Yeah. And tithe online immediately at 12:30 in the morning, just because we knew that God was blessing us, in part because of our faithfulness and our decision to follow His word and not really try to game the system. Kind of some of the biggest blessings that I think I've felt, and I've felt for our family, is the humility of having to accept help from other people. Seeing and feeling other people reaching out and helping you out has been gratifying. But even, maybe even better than that is flipping it around and being in a position where you are able to be that help to somebody else, and to see and to kind of help somebody else through their hard times, and knowing that God has asked you to step in and help somebody else through their hard time.
Like he was saying in our story, like we literally did wake up at 12:30 a.m. to see how much we got to give. Like it was a get to, not a have to. To me, that's what's being all in. That's what's saying yes, is this paradigm shift in your mind where it's a get to. It's a get to because, because Jesus. And Jesus, gives us freedom. And when you obey and you're faithful, just wait to see what happens.
Don't think about it, just do it. If you go back to our story, it was really tough to get to the point where we were giving more. I mean, we were giving 10% of money that, still didn't meet our needs. We were giving 10% of money that we were still, thousands of dollars in the hole every single month. You have to realize that, God has said in the Bible there's only one place to test Him, and that's with your money. See what happens. Let God show up and be involved in your life. Get involved with other people. Don't be the person that suffers in silence. Be a part of a group. Let people know what's going on with your life. If bad stuff's happening, let people pray for you. Let people be involved.
Everything under the sun is God's. Everything. And He just asks for the 10. And so where we're at in our lives right now is, what are we doing with the other 90? And are we being obedient and faithful to the rest of that He's given us? Be expectant, actually be really expectant of what God's gonna do. And the blessings, it's not guaranteed it's coming back monetarily. It could come in any different way, any different form, but it will come. And you just have to trust, step out on that faith. Even if it's not enough, again, it's the heart, it's the heart, it's the heart.